Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yoon and today I will be talking about my 2019 plants wish list. Before I go into that, I do want to mention that I have a guest star with me today and he will be pretty much in the background the whole time because he is taking his afternoon nap. This is my Neff dog, my sister's 1-year-old pup, and his name is Indy, short for Indiana. He has been such a wonderful pup today, really quiet and really just enjoying his nap as I'm trying to record my video here for the past 30 minutes or so. So I will dive right into talking about my 2019 plants wish list. I find it really addicting watching a lot of people's plant hauls, just seeing what they buy, what they add to their home and whatnot, and I get really inspired when I see something that I really like. And so there are a few that I recently came across since I moved back to New York that I want to add to my collection, but there are a few that because of my move back to New York from Hong Kong, I no longer have these plants with me, and so I want to add them back to my current collection. There are 8 plants on the list today, 2 of which are non-orchids, 3 of which are non-orchids, and the other 5 are all orchids I've owned in the past. The first one on my list is an orchid that I would define as my spirit orchid. This orchid is just beautiful. It's a sequential bloomer and it is the Psychopsis orchid, and it comes in 2 color varieties, orange or yellow. I had the pleasure of owning both. One survived, one didn't, and unfortunately because I moved back to New York, I had to leave it with my partner in Hong Kong, and now he's taking care of it. As I mentioned, it's a sequential bloomer, therefore it grows off of one spike, and that spike will essentially keep producing flowers. So you never cut off that spike, and I just really enjoy it, especially with putting it on, by the window. It just looks so majestic as it looks out into the sunlight, and I really miss waking up and seeing that orchid, and so I'm really hoping to add that back into my collection. They are a little bit of a slow bloomer, or a slow grower rather, and they are part of the Oncidium family. I really like Oncidiums, but I have to say that's my favorite of the Oncidium family. The second orchid is actually an orchid that got introduced to me through Orchids Girl from Danny, and Danny had a Sidera japonica, and I just love how dainty the flowers are, and I thought when I was back in Hong Kong, I thought I just needed to have this in my collection. Sure enough, I did add it into my collection, and I did get to see it bloom, and it was heavenly. It was so heavenly. If I can smell like that all day, I would. It produced such fragrant flowers, small flowers, but very, very fragrant, and it's just so beautiful, the colorway. I do really want to add it back to my collection this year. The other one is actually a orchid that I bought multiples of when I was in Hong Kong, a few of which it really took a long time to see a bloom, and that's the Paphiopedilum orchid, or the slipper orchid. I love the foliage of Paphiopedilums, especially the ones that are mottled, and I just really enjoy how weird it looks. It's also got like a weird alien look to it that I really find so incredible and fascinating, and so I really want to add that back into my collection. If I have to determine between either the dark purple one or the green one, I think I want to go for the dark purple one because it adds a little bit more weirdness to it. The next one is actually a Violacea. Now, I love Violaceas. They're so beautiful in terms of color. Usually it's a variety of purples. There are some that are more towards pink rather than purple, but those were just so beautiful. The color is striking. It's a medium-sized orchid, I must say, or the ones that I've had. I would really love to have a small one, because I really do have a thing for really dainty looking orchids, And so that is also something that I want to add to my collection this year. The next one is, it's actually a dendrobium, and I forgot the exact name of the one that I had, but I'll try to insert a picture of the one that I had in my previous collection. I think it's the Dendrobium parisi or something. I'll try to find it. I love this dendrobium because it is just so fragrant. It's fragrant during the middle of the day, and in terms, I've had it rebloom for me at least 2 times, and each time there's about 10 or so flowers, and it's just so amazing. I love the way how it dangles on this one sort of branch looking thing, and after the flowers go away, you still kept those canes. That's the word I was thinking about, canes. So you still kept those canes, but new growth will come out, and then the process of watching it grow again is just so incredible as well. So I would really love to add this particular dendrobium back into my collection. So that's all of my 5 orchids that I would like to add back to my collection. The other 3 are non-orchids, starting with the first one, and this is really my MVP when I was living in Hong Kong, because I had a lot of orchids. At some point, I think I had about 35 plants in my collection, and they all sat on this windowsill. This MVP was something necessary to keep the gnats away. So it was really important to me that I get a carnivorous plant, hint hint. So this carnivorous plant is actually a butterwort, and otherwise known as a pinguicula. So I've actually owned 2 pinguiculas in the past. One is, I don't know the scientific name, but I tend to name my plants. So I had one that's called Tina, and then I had one that's called Weezer. And so Tina, she produced the most gorgeous tiny purple flowers. Was it purple or pink? Purplish pink. And so so Tina had really fat leaves too. It was really juicy looking. It captured a lot of gnats. It was just so satisfying seeing how Tina caught all of these gnats that would have been just annoying the heck out of me near my windowsill. Weezer has slightly thinner leaves. He also was really effective in catching gnats as well, but I just really like the plump look of Tina more. Okay, indie stretching. All right. And so I would love to have a butterwort back into my collection again, because I do see some gnat situation, like 1 or 2 here and there around my current plants by my windowsill, and so I would love to add a butterwort to my collection just so that I can control that a little bit. The next one is actually a sibling to one that I already have in my collection, which is the Monstera deliciosa, but in the variegated form. So this one, many of you would know that it's also known as the Swiss cheese plant, and this Swiss cheese plant is something that I found out through Instagram and also through other plant enthusiasts or fellow plant YouTubers collection, and I just really love the way that it adds more of a tropical vibe to your apartment or to your home in general. And so I really enjoyed the full green one that I have, but I would love to add a variegated one to my collection, and I know that it's a little bit difficult to find, but I'm keeping my eyes out for it. The last one on my list is actually one that I wasn't interested in at first, because I thought it looked a little bit weird, but then as time grew on, I'm quite interested in like weird looking plants. And so this one is actually the Pelea pepper, I can't pronounce the last part of it, but it's also known as a Chinese money plant, and it's got these adorable circular leaves. It looks so amazing, and I love how it creates so many leaves, baby leaves. And I've seen a few YouTubers on other channels that that documented the journey of how their Pelea looked in like a year ago, and then within a year's time it just grew into a massive plant. Of course, it's also really green. It really elevates the look of your home, and so I really love to add that to my collection. So that's all of my 8 plants that I would love to add to my collection this year. I am still figuring out my growing situation at home. My apartment is a little bit more on the dry side because it's now the winter season. The air in my apartment is typically around that 30 to 40% humidity. I have a humidifier that I got just for my plants. I have a few tropical plants in my collection that requires a higher humidity, and I haven't really thought about adding anything super high-tech or advanced. I haven't thought about grow lights yet or anything, but so far most of my houseplants seems to be doing okay. Thank you so much for watching my video. Again, my name is Yoon, and I recently started this YouTube channel really to document some of my personal interests and hobbies, just because I myself, as a fellow avid YouTube watcher, I follow a lot of different YouTubers and really was influenced by many of them in adapting to different lifestyle choices, one of which involves bringing plants into my living space, which I think is one of the greatest decisions that I've ever made. And so if you would like to watch or learn more about me in upcoming videos, then stay tuned and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much, and see you another time. Bye!